Our summary begins with a prison where Officer Green is preparing to deliver money to a high-profile inmate named Ballum. Despite being behind bars, Ballum enjoys a special arrangement. He lives in a private cell surrounded by personal guards and luxury items. From within the secure space, he continues to control his empire, which includes drug trafficking, human trafficking, and arms dealing. He willingly remains in prison, as it offers protection from his enemies and keeps him beyond their reach. Soon after, new inmates arrive and are placed in the same facility as Ballum. Among them is Jack, a former police officer accused of killing another officer and robbing a bank. Before being taken to his cell, Jack is intercepted and assaulted by Officer Green, who warns him that his past actions have made him a target inside the prison. The story flashes back to 1 week earlier. Jack and a group of fellow officers had orchestrated a bank robbery, not for personal gain, but as part of an undercover operation to collect evidence against corrupt officials involved in organized crime originating from within the prison. After retrieving crucial evidence from the bank's safe deposit boxes, their escape is thwarted by other officers. A violent shootout ensues. Jack's entire team is killed, leaving him as the sole survivor. During his escape, Jack is cornered by an officer whom he identifies as being connected to his wife's murder. In a desperate confrontation, Jack leaps off a building with the officer, killing the latter in the fall, but surviving the impact himself. Later, Jack places the collected evidence in the apartment of a reporter named Trisha. He shares information with her about the criminal operations and the involvement of high-ranking officials and Ballum. He urges her to report everything to the district attorney's office. Back in the present, Jack is now placed in a cell with another inmate named Silva. During lunch, Ballum's cousin Simon confronts Jack and demands protection money, asserting dominance within the prison. Jack refuses to comply, and when Simon and his men try to attack him, Jack fights back. The scuffle attracts the attention of the guards, who intervene and send Simon to solitary confinement. Meanwhile, in a women's prison, a violent fight breaks out between two female inmates. Guards quickly intervene and separate them. Following the altercation, one of the prisoners, Elena, is blindfolded and taken to meet Ballum. When she arrives, she finds herself in a room with Simone and several other prisoners. It becomes clear that Simone and his men have been collecting protection money without Ballum's permission. Elena, on the other hand, is there for attacking one of Ballum's favored inmates. In response to the growing unrest and Jack's interference, Ballum publicly announces a reward of $100,000 to any inmate who can eliminate Jack. Soon after, while Jack is speaking with William in the prison yard, a group of prisoners attacks him. Jack and William, however, manage to fight back and defeat all of them using their combat skills. At the same time, Ballum receives a call from District Attorney Johnson, who informs him that Trisha has obtained damaging evidence against him. Alarmed, Ballum orders Johnson to silence Trisha and moves forward with a plan to ensure Jack is killed before the situation spirals further out of control. The following day, while Jack is doing laundry, a group of prison guards arrives, intending to collect the reward Ballum placed on Jack's head. They begin attacking him with batons, but Jack retaliates fiercely and manages to defeat them. As he exits the laundry area, another group of prisoners confronts him. Before they can act, Jack reasons with them, pointing out that the reward isn't worth the risk, especially once it's divided among them. His words make them hesitate, and eventually they walk away without a fight. Meanwhile, Trisha visits her friend Allison and reveals everything she's uncovered about Ballum, including the evidence linking him and several officers to a criminal network. Elsewhere, Elena attempts to apologize to Ballum's favored inmate, Kat, for their earlier fight. However, Kat rejects the apology and punches Elena in the face. Elena fakes unconsciousness, prompting guards to take her to the prison's medical room. Once the doctor steps out, she uses a paperclip to unlock her handcuffs, then steals bottles of alcohol and medication, hiding them in William's cleaning bucket. She proceeds to sneak into an air vent with a tool in hand, navigating through the ducts in search of the CCTV control room. Along the way, she draws a detailed map. With William's discreet help, she eventually locates the surveillance room. After planting the necessary items and completing her mission, she sneaks back into the medical room just in time, avoiding detection. At the same time, Trisha visits Jack again, having uncovered his true identity. She questions him about the officer he killed. Jack explains that Ballum's men were responsible for his wife's death, and the officer he killed had been part of that operation. Later, Jack makes a startling discovery. William is not actually a prisoner, but an undercover officer. Shocked, Jack asks how long he has been working undercover. William reveals that he has been embedded in the prison for 6 months, and his mission is to expose the network of corrupt inmates and government officials operating under Balaam's influence. William also reveals that Elena has been working with him to gather hidden evidence from within the prison. As William is explaining this to Jack, a group of inmates launches a surprise attack against them, sparking a brutal fight. In the aftermath, Jack is falsely accused of initiating the violence and is thrown into solitary confinement. Meanwhile, William is summoned by a prisoner named Blaine, who has a long-standing rivalry with Balaam's men. Blaine threatens to expose William's true identity unless he is paid more to stay silent and allow the undercover operation to continue. At the same time, Trisha once again attempts to meet with District Attorney Johnson, but the receptionist informs her that he is occupied with a series of meetings. Mark approaches her once more, trying to convince her to hand over the evidence, but she remains cautious and refuses. Back inside the prison, Balaam receives a visit from his daughter. To accommodate the visit, he's temporarily released from his secret cell and escorted to the visiting room. William observes this and discreetly signals Elena to initiate their plan. Following the cue, Elena pretends to faint, prompting a guard to escort her to the medical room. Once inside, she and William quickly subdue the guard. Elena proceeds to the CCV room through the air ducts, while William, disguised as a prison guard, heads to the central control room. Using the security monitors, Elena spots Balaam being escorted out of the visiting room. Seizing the moment, William unlocks the door to Jack's solitary cell and sets him free. Jack takes down a nearby guard and puts on his uniform to blend in. William and Elena quickly inform Jack that they will help lead him to Balaam's private cell before he returns. Soon after, Blaine and several guards discover the breach in the CCTV room and attempt to force their way in. Before they succeed, Elena escapes through the ventilation ducts. Realizing they are running out of time before Balaam returns, William triggers a full-scale prison riot by remotely unlocking all the cell doors. Chaos erupts as inmates flood out of their cells and begin attacking guards, particularly those who had previously abused their power. Amid the chaos, Officer Green attempts to escape but is intercepted by Jack, who shoves him into a mob of angry prisoners. Simultaneously, William and Elena fend off incoming attacks from hostile inmates as they try to maintain control of their mission. As Jack gets closer to reaching Balaam, he is confronted by Salmon. The two engage in a violent F-fight, during which Salmon stabs Jack in the stomach. Jack overpowers Salmon and finally reaches Balaam's hidden chamber. Meanwhile, outside the prison, Allison has secretly aligned herself with District Attorney Johnson, planning to eliminate Trisha and prevent the evidence from being exposed. Just as Allison is about to pull the trigger, Mark unexpectedly intervenes. He reveals that he is an undercover FBI agent who has been posing as the prosecutor's assistant. His mission has been to expose Johnson's deep-rooted corruption and the network of government officials involved with Balaam. Back inside the prison, William confronts Warden Blaine and other guards, taking them down as part of his mission to dismantle the corrupt power structure from within. At last, Jack confronts Balaam in a final one-on-one battle. Initially, Balaam gains the upper hand, knocking Jack down and leaving him nearly defeated. As Jack lies on the ground, memories of his wife's murder at the hands of Balaam's men flash through his mind. Drawing strength from the pain and rage, Jack rises once more and overpowers Balaam in a brutal and decisive fight, finally avenging his wife's death. Shortly afterward, a SWAT team storms the prison and restores control. As order is re-established, William introduces Jack and Elena to one another, acknowledging their crucial roles in dismantling Balaam's criminal empire, both inside and outside the prison walls. William also shares that his superiors are grateful for their help. In the aftermath, the FBI launches a full-scale crackdown, arresting all the corrupt government officials and police officers who were complicit in Balaam's operations. Jack is taken into temporary custody by William, who assures him that his release will be processed soon.